guys, welcome back to SPX 2015. I'm Rusty.
I'm Joe.
And this is
DJ Wilkins.
DJ, welcome.
What's going on, DJ?
Here first year doing with the table. Attended last year for the first time, so
Nice.
very excited to be here. Immediately became our favorite geeky DC convention.
Yeah.
Just the the uniqueness of all the content and everything. Very cool. Here with my first comic book.
Nice.
What's your comic?
Tell us about that.
So it's called Jesus Jumpkick.
It's a fantastic name.
Thank you.
Now, I'm hoping that this is somebody's actual proper name. Like first name Jesus, last name Jumpkick.
Oh no, not yet. Maybe
be.
if I have a child.
That's true.
I can make that happen. But
Fingers crossed.
I like that.
because
idea.
Jesus doesn't necessarily have a last name because they didn't have last names back then. So
Oh, yeah.
Jumpkick
That's
could.
true.
Yeah.
It should be his chosen last name. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. I just got excited. I'm sorry.
You weren't in the
No,
mindset
So-
of the Jesus time.
I need to. Well, I have to change my last name to Jumpkick too. Then maybe.
No,
his
man,
middle
just,
name.
Just have this kid that's
Yeah.
like its own name. No, my kid's Jesus Jumpkick.
It's
Yeah.
it's his
Yeah,
own,
he's related to me. Doesn't need my
he's his
name.
own person.
Yeah. When your name is Jesus Jumpkick, you don't need to be identified.
I
with
named you
anybody
that
else.
to help spread the word about my comic. I mean,
That's it.
Yeah.
that would be
You're
a
the
little. It might be a little bit
greatest
not
promotion
quite
Living
right.
marketing.
Your whole it's just keeps paying off.
When you go to school, just make sure you say to visit your website also. JesusJumpkick.com.
Just all it's gonna be custom made T-shirts that I'll wear to school all the time. He's not gonna, not gonna wear anything else.
You can't send him to a school where there's a uniform because you need to control this. You need to control the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Private
Yeah.
school.
So tell us about your comic.
Yes.
So it is about the Jesus of the Bible. The twist is that it has the spirit realm also included as another visual layer of the story, and there Jesus and his angels battle the bad angels, and what happens with those battles affects things back in the physical world, like Jesus trying to heal people kind of thing. So there are things out there, Jesus action things like Jesus fighting zombies and vampires and things.
Nice.
But the idea here is to have action in the Jesus story in a way that's still consistent with the Bible. So
So it's just the things you didn't see.
exactly, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like but that are implied with Jesus exorcising demons from people and things
Nice.
of that nature.
So in a way, it's like a director's cut.
I don't know if I could claim to be the director. That seems a little high and mighty, but
Special edition, at least. Yeah, there you go.
So what
Yeah.
what kind of gave you the inspiration for this?
So definitely the surgence of comic book movies recently was a big part of it. And I have a Christian background, and the Jesus story seems to have a lot of the basic components of a hero story with the larger-than-life battle between good and evil. For a lot of people with the Christian biblical worldview, he's actually the hero of the ultimate story, or the ultimate epic story.
Sure.
So I read some books along those lines. There's an author, John Eldridge, that has a lot of things he talks about along those lines. And that and the comic book movies were a big inspiration. Also, The Matrix was really big. You have a serious philosophical, religious themed
Yeah, there were a lot of
movie.
like, biblical allegories in that.
Yeah, and yet all this it's an action movie and it works. People really enjoyed it. And there was also some dualism of similar to the spirit physical thing where he saw the green matrix code,
Right.
that no one else could see. And so similar idea here, Jesus can see the spirit realm but nobody else necessarily can, and he can do things there that no other human can because of his special identity. So yeah, those are some of the main inspirations for it.
Nice.
Thanks.
So this is your first comic?
Yeah, first comic.
You just went
Wow.
all out. This is a full-size comic.
Yeah,
With
it's
a
pretty.
big
It's
production value.
23 pages. The cover's by Genzo Man. I don't know if you know Genzo Man. He's got a lot of stuff on DeviantArt.com.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Done a little bit of work with Blizzard on World of Warcraft,
Oh, wow.
concept artwork
Yeah.
and stuff. And then the internal artist is Ario and Aditu, and he's just started to do some work with Marvel while we were producing it.
Wow.
So he's done a couple of issues of Wolverines, the plural post-Wolverine Death comic series, and he's doing some House of M stuff now. So he's just started, just cool timing. He started
I was
work
gonna
with
say, that's a
Marvel.
great
Yeah,
already.
it's perfect
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, so it's pretty. So the comic is black and white currently. If I ever do a color version, I feel like I have to find a really good colorist to
You're gonna find
live
some
up to these
colors
other
that's gonna
artists.
break big soon.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe
that's
they'll
what-
know somebody they can tell. They can
Exactly.
give me a hookup or something. So see what
Well,
happens.
did you find it challenging to construct a comic? You've never done it before, and you're going all the way with this one, artist. You're publishing it. Was it hard for you to kind of get your hands around all of that?
Definitely. it was helpful to read a few books about it. Like, I know Scott McCloud's here today. Read his book. Was recommended by some comic book creators at a convention. Read a DC Comics How to Create Comics book. So it was definitely challenging. What really helped a lot was having a girlfriend that could draw.
Definitely
My girlfriend's an
helps.
illustrator. We're sharing a table here. She's also an art teacher, so she helped draw the pages, and I was able to like read it and be like, okay, this is not quite right. I need a couple more pages. The pacing's off, things like that. So
That's perfect to have her
had to
do,
work
like,
it
the
out.
layouts, so you can
Yeah,
actually visualize
versus
it.
otherwise I would have been paying the artist. I'm like, okay, actually, let's redo all this stuff, and yeah, so that helped a good bit.
Nice.
But yeah, it wasn't too hard. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's difficult is almost the technical printing stuff, the trim line, and
yeah.
It takes
figuring
a
all
lot
that
of
stuff
time
out.
to get used to that stuff. To be
Yeah.
considerate
Those
of
are
it.
like specific things too that like printers know, but people that
Right.
do the creative
Yeah,
side,
never heard of that. Never
until the first time
imagined.
they do it, you don't know any of it.
Yeah, and the to bleed stuff's like, oh, you're having them draw stuff. You're not actually going to see it.
In a
Some things
way,
are getting
it's
cut.
like advantageous to you that you had to learn all of this. So for the next time you make a book, you're gonna have a lot of this already in the book.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier next time for sure.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, it's always, I think, helpful when you end up having to do more than you really should, because then you learn a little bit outside of your area of expertise.
It's also like a thing where it's good I didn't know ahead of time how much was involved,
Yeah.
because then you might not do it.
It'll scare
You might
you
not
off.
start. Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, no, it's actually I'm not willing to do that. But once you get going,
And
you
if
do it a little more each
new
time.
thing just comes up on its own. You're like, okay, I made it through that part.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
I
just
made
do
it
this
through
one
that part.
thing. Yep. Yeah. So it was definitely a learning process, and I'll do it again. But once I finished the first one, I was definitely like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this again. I definitely needed to start putting it out there and feel like somebody actually cares about this and it's
Yeah.
resonating with some people. And then once you find that feedback, then it's like, okay, I can this makes it all worthwhile.
Yes.
So I can do this again.
So you said last year was your first SPX, right?
Yeah,
Had
first
you
one
done
attending.
Comic shows in general before that, or
Just as an attendee, I went to Baltimore Comic Con last
Okay.
year. I've been checking out the geeky DC conventions,
Right.
Sure.
MagFest and Otakon and KatsuCon,
Yeah.
and SPX. So, but all as an attendee, I did take the comic to T Mode this year, which is a very they call it a fun sized convention. It's pretty.
That's a good.
It's very small, and they've kind of skipped some years and stuff. And this year it was on Easter and Passover weekend.
Oh wow.
So and they had skipped last year, so I think it hurt their attendance a little bit. But it was a good warm up for. I've never done this before. I don't know what to do at the table. Like, good way to learn. Learn the ropes a little bit.
Yeah, instead of like jumping right in.
Yeah. The second one was Otakon, so
wow.
that's like the opposite end of the spectrum for the area of 30,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it wasn't. But having gone to Otakon as an attendee, I was surprised it wasn't more overwhelming because of how overwhelming it is to actually go to Otakon.
Oh yeah.
Because you're constantly in the crowds versus
And I
you
guess
can hide behind your table a little bit.
from a retailer or creator perspective, I guess it's not taking the whole con into account for something like that, where you just have like a separate artist alley as opposed to. all the various
Yeah,
other
you're just
stuff.
in your little area of the
Yeah.
convention center, and Baltimore Convention Center, honestly, it's hard to navigate, and they have a lot of
It's all, like,
one-way
broken up
navigation
and-
things.
Yeah,
So I heard they're moving it to DC in a couple of years.
I think so. Yeah.
So that might help because I think at least from going to AwesomeCon, I think you can just go in a circle if you don't know what you're doing, and you'll
Right.
get there eventually. Versus like, oh no, you just have to go this one way. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah,
So
it
it
was-
seems like a really action-oriented,
Mhm.
with a lot of, I don't know, it's not necessarily salacious, but like there's violence, but not
Right.
necessarily graphic violence.
yeah,
it's,
I definitely wanted to stay away from that. So
How is it? Would you consider it like like an action movie of sorts?
it's more or like if you probably like me grew up watching like GI Joe and
Yeah, this could be.
He-Man and stuff. They're not gory cartoons.
Yes.
Now, not realistic in that sense either, but kids don't necessarily need to see all that. And but yeah, I definitely want to go a non-gory route. So that was definitely something very intentional, and I hadn't necessarily communicated that to my artist at the very beginning.
Sure.
So there's one shot in here that's like a double splash, like battle shot. Let's see. I'll show you guys real quick. So it's this opening, like, the opening battle shot is like a double splash battle shot.
Right.
And the first time it was done, I hadn't communicated, like, I don't want any deaths in this comic. I hadn't called for any explicitly, which I thought was like, he's going to know there's not going to be any.
You're not going to get it, yeah.
Right, but that wasn't necessarily clear, and I take responsibility for that. You know, I believe communication's largely on the communicator to do. But it came back and there was some gore going on. I was like, oh no, yeah, this is not what I was going for. So I, definitely communicated my vision a little more fully, and we were on the same page at that point. Yeah. The communication was very interesting to learn about.
Absolutely.
How much you take for granted that you need to actually be explicit about.
To know like what your approach to the same type of situation is and what their approach is.
Totally. Did you guys ever do that, like the school assignment where like you were supposed to write instructions step by step and then get up in front of the class and the other person followed you, only did what you said?
Yeah, do exactly what
like
you said.
Mine was like making a PB jelly sandwich, and it was a disaster of a sandwich because, I did not actually tell you to put down the knife or something.
Right.
And it just goes to
I got a knife sandwich.
So it's very much like that's the reality of it.
I think if you get to work with an artist, more often, then you kind of develop your own language with them.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
First time, you don't really know how they're going to interpret everything.
Totally. Yep. Definitely.
So do you think you have plans to make more?
Yeah, I would love to make more. Trying to do at least 3. That's kind of the short term goal. I want to do like 12 to 15 total, but it's a lot to get my head around. So I'm just trying to do 3
at once.
Right.
So far out, you can just do like increments.
I'm going 5-year plan kind of thing.
Yeah.
And trying to do maybe like a multimedia version a little bit, like a motion comic.
Oh, cool.
In the near future to try to find another way to promote it and share it. And that's kind of I imagine stories like movies, or I imagine this is an animated kind of thing.
Right.
So it's a way of realizing more fully to kind of what it was originally in my head as well. Yeah.
Now, DJ, would you be interested in answering a mystery question?
I would love to. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm familiar with the mystery box. So.
Well, now it's your time.
Your mystery moment.
Oh, here's the quarter. Okay. It's just magically waiting for me.
Here it comes. Excellent handling of the capsule.
I saw it roll. I saw one takeoff earlier, so I was ready to.
Yes. It can be a little bit difficult.
I want to do like a supercut of everybody that has trouble opening these.
Because it's everybody.
Because everybody has trouble.
Strong capsules.
Comb or brush? All right, so this is a personal question. I feel like this is a lot to
I need to know what's
ask.
in your heart.
We don't want like
this
society's answer. We want yours.
This is my first interview, and it's getting really deep. I don't use either.
What?
It's
It's
a confession.
Everything.
You flipped every script.
No comb, no brush. Take your question.
It's embarrassing.
Fold it, put it away.
I do use deodorant. I practice good hygiene otherwise, but the comb and the brush.
I don't think that a comb or brush indicates hygiene level.
Okay, good.
I think it just introduces hair preference.
I feel better about sharing.
Your hair looks nice and neat. It's in place. It's not off crazy.
I'm impressed what you've accomplished with neither comb or brush.
I keep it short for that reason. It's very strategic.
Hey.
I basically want hair that requires as little shampoo and conditioner as possible, and when you're done and it dries, it just dries in place the way you want.
I've kind of done the opposite. Like, I'm not going to unveil it for everyone, but my hair can get pretty crazy, and it grows fast. So sometimes I just say, whatever, I'm just going to leave it growing fast, leave it big. Then I can't worry about it. Then it's like chaos hair, and I don't have to worry about it either.
It's like a signature, and if you're going to wear a crown,
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Hey.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I do that also, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm not responsible for this. I can't fix this.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's grown hair.
So I'm kind of with you in that.
I have a friend you've got the beard going on too.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose beard is very signature for part of who he is, part of his brand, I would say. And it's a beastly manly thing.
Sure.
So why not have the hair that goes with that?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I figure, also, it communicates so much without having to say anything. Like, this is me not caring about anything.
Yeah, you're fun-loving, carefree.
Yeah, carefree, giving up, all these things.
Totally.
That mix together. Now, DJ, can anyone find your comic online, buy it online?
Right now, it is not available for sale online, but I'm going to try to get it digitally available very soon. Just kickstarted.
Oh, right.
Just kickstarted it. I did a Kablam version first time. Doing one with Print Ninja now. with the Kickstarter. So once I have that, I'm gonna start selling it online and also digitally get it online. I ran into my Print Ninja account manager here.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. She had literally proofed the images 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And so she was like, I know this. At first I was like, oh, this looks like a different Jesus thing you've seen. But like, no, this is the exactly thing that I know because I just was emailing this person like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, and she's from out of state. I'm not going to give too much information about this person.
Sure. But it's so funny to run into her.
Yeah, just like randomly. So very cool. So it's
all right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Enjoy the show.
You too.